Our opening words are about Sankofa. This word and concept comes from Ghana and means go back and get it, emphasizing learning from the past to build a better future by retrieving lost wisdom, knowledge, and values to inform the present and the future. Visually, it's often shown as a mystical bird looking backward to fetch an egg, symbolizing true progress requires understanding and honoring history and ancestry while moving forward. So, our opening words this morning are by Belinda A. Edwards. I am Sankofa, feet planted forwards, head turned backwards, moving through space. Out of the corner of my eye, I glimpse the shimmering veil between past and future. What is ahead, what is behind, meets here at this ghost bridge in the glimmering shadows of time. Tell me the secrets, spin the threads of hope, of prosperity into silvery strands to be woven into luminous patterns of new life.
Wonder box. I need some help with this wonder box. Young in heart, body, mind, or spirit, you are all welcome to come up. Yes, okay. So, who of you would like to open the wonder box today? Would you like to do it? Okay. How about you unlock it? Right there. Lift it up. There you go. Good. And then pull that in. Perfect. And then you can open it. And it just opens like that. What's in there? A book. What does it say? Don't trust fish. A book that says, don't trust fish. Okay. Do you all like reading books? Do you like it when people read books to you? Did you want to open it too? You like to go to libraries? Yeah, I like to go to libraries too. I got this book at a bookstore because it reminded me of something that I wanted to talk with you all about today. This is a big word. You might know this word. You little ones might not know this word. But this word is a really big, it's two big words. It's called conspiracy theories. Do we know what these words mean? Have you ever heard this word, you older one? Do you know what it means? What does it mean? Don't know. This is a very strange thing that grown-ups sometimes do. Sometimes grown-ups make up stories when they're worried about something and they don't know what's going to happen, and so they make up stories and they pretend that these stories are real, and sometimes they even believe that these stories are totally real, and sometimes they tell these stories on the internet, and sometimes they even make money telling these stories on the internet, and other people believe that they're real, and it's like a whole bunch of like really kind of strange stories on the internet that aren't really true. So that's sort of what this book is about. This book is a little bit about that. So I won't belabor that too much by describing it. I'm just going to read the book to you, and I'll show you the pictures as I go. This book is called Don't Trust Fish. The reason I'm doing this, though, is because I think in this age of conspiracy theories where we get really worried about things that are happening in the world, it's important to remember to laugh and have a good time. Do you all like to laugh? Do you like funny stories? Do you like funny stories? Do you like funny stories? Yeah, this is a funny story. I think it's a very silly book. This animal has fur. This animal is warm-blooded. This animal feeds her baby's milk. This animal is a mammal. What kind is it? That's a cow. That's right. It's a cow. Yeah. It's not a fish. This animal is cold-blooded, has dry, scaly skin, lays eggs. This animal is a reptile. This animal has feathers. This animal's a bird. That's it. Anything with feathers is a bird. Birds are dead easy. Get a snake and a bird there. Yeah. This is a fish. Don't trust fish. We do like fish, and it's a silly book about fish. We should really like fish, but this book says fish don't follow any rules. Some of them have gills, some of them have lungs, some live in salt water, some live in fresh water, some lay eggs, some don't. They are rebels and outlaws. Don't trust fish. Some fish eat seaweed. Some fish eat poor, innocent crabs who are just trying to enjoy a nice time in the sea. Some fish eat other fish. Don't trust fish. Fish spend all their time in the water where we can't see them. What are they talking about? Are they plotting our doom? We must learn their fishy secrets. This is Jeff. We think he's their leader. He looks harmless, but don't be fooled. He's the craftiest fish of all. Don't trust Jeff. Don't trust fish. Let's ask this wise old fisherman, Mr. Fisherman, should we trust fish? Yar, only fools and landlubbers trust them scurvy sea scoundrels. I don't know why he sounds like a pirate. That's weird. Don't trust fish. A group of fish is called, I know, it's so silly. This is the silliest book in the world. A group of fish is called a school. But what are they learning in these schools? We have a right to know. There they are looking at something strange. What are they learning? This is a whale shark. It's the largest fish in the world. It's the size of a bus. That's not okay. The anglerfish lives in the deepest part of the ocean and looks the way all fish do on the inside. The anglerfish attracts poor, defenseless crabs by glowing. This is called bioluminescence. It's also called cheating, and it's called being a nasty, tricky fish. They may already be in your home watching you. You see, he's watching from a telescope into the kitchen where the people are eating breakfast, and the kids are saying, "Pancakes are yummy." Look at that. And then they go out and they tell their king, "Pancakes are yummy, sire." And Jeff, the king, says, "Well done." You might think you're safe if you don't have a fish tank. Wrong. Ships always sink at sea. They never sink on land. Isn't that strange? Don't trust fish. Tiger shark, catfish, seahorse, fish, 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 fish. We see through your tricky disguises. Don't trust fish, except this one. This little fish is okay. You can trust him. No, that was a test. Don't trust fish. This is the worst fish. This is especially bad fish. Fish, crabs are not fish. Crabs are your friends. This crab made a sandwich. Isn't that nice? We don't know that fish have giant battle aquariums with laser beams and long legs that they will one day use to take over the world. We don't know that. We don't know that they don't have them either. Maybe they're on their way. They could be here at any moment. Don't trust fish. Don't trust fish. Don't trust fish. Sorry, got a little carried away there. Where were we? This animal is cold-blooded. This animal lays soft eggs in the water. This animal can breathe and land in water. This animal is called an amphibian. The end. So, should we trust fish? Probably. Yeah, probably. Probably, because stories are stories. Yeah, stories are stories, and not always true.
Our opening words today showed us Sankofa, a mystical bird who is moving forward while looking back. It is from Ghana, and it means go back and get it. It teaches the importance of learning from the past to build the future. In its mouth is the egg, representing hope. This is wisdom for us today as we think about endings. We need to know our personal history. We need to know where we have been. The hymn we sometimes sing, Wo Ya Ya, reminds us we don't always know where we are going. But knowing where we have been, understanding the past, helps us to create the future. When I was in high school, I thought it was odd that the graduation exercise was called commencement. Commence means to begin. By the time I finished college, I understood. In every ending, there is a new beginning. That is a statement made by a character in one of my favorite novels. And it is true. It can't help but be. An ending is a chance, an opportunity. Sometimes the ending and the beginning are so small, we may not even notice them. Each night is an ending, and a new day, a beginning. And we might ask ourselves, what did I notice or do or feel or learn today that will help me tomorrow? Some endings are large scale. My decision to leave Christianity, the faith of my childhood, was pretty big for me. And what began then was a time where I felt like I had no faith. But that ended when I discovered a UU church and experienced another new beginning. We are now just coming through the Christmas season, and I always feel a little nostalgic for Christianity at Christmas time. I found it comforting to believe, to really believe the story, and I felt great joy in the music. It took me a long time to reconcile with hymns of my childhood. The African American Community Choir came to Four Seasons earlier this month and sang Christmas songs. Their joy was palpable as they were a witness to their faith through these songs, and I felt a little envious. But I've come to resolution with my Christian past, hopefully learned from it, and am happy in this present and in the future. There are endings that come to us that we don't want, that we feel like we cannot endure. In the Hallmark movies that I like, the endings are always happy. But life is not like that. Sometimes the ending is messy. For me, the end of my first marriage was one of those. And it began a challenging time. And I didn't want to look back. I just wanted to move forward, move on, get away from this. And finally, after years, I have looked back, taken some hard lessons, and feel some resolution. Endings and beginnings are inevitable. Change is inevitable. May we use our knowledge of the past and the support that we find in community to move forward with faith and the egg of hope even when we don't know where we are going. Our reading this morning is an excerpt from the book When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. We think that if we just meditated enough or jogged enough or ate perfect food, everything would be perfect. But from the point of view of someone who is awake, that is death. Seeking security or perfection, rejoicing and feeling confirmed and whole, self-contained and comfortable, is some kind of death. It doesn't have any fresh air. There's no room for something to come in and interrupt all that. We are killing the moment by controlling our experience. Doing this is setting ourselves up for failure because sooner or later, we are going to have an experience we can't control. Our house is going to burn down. Someone we love is going to die. We are going to find out we have cancer. A brick is going to fall out of the sky and hit us on the head. Somebody's going to spill tomato juice all over our white suit. Or we're going to arrive at our favorite restaurant and discover no one ordered produce and 700 people are coming for lunch. The essence of life is that it's challenging. Sometimes it is sweet, sometimes it is bitter. Sometimes your body tenses and sometimes it relaxes and opens. Sometimes you have a headache and sometimes you feel 100% healthy. From an awakened perspective, trying to tie up all the loose ends and finally get it together is death because it involves rejecting a lot of your basic experience. There is something aggressive about that approach to life, trying to flatten out all the rough spots and imperfections into a nice, smooth ride. To be fully alive, fully human, and to completely awake is to be continually thrown out of the nest. To live fully is to be always in no man's land, to experience each moment as completely new and fresh. To live is to be willing to die over and over again. From an awakened point of view, that's life. The way to resolve our resistance to life is to meet it face to face. When we feel resentment because the room is too hot, we could meet the heat and feel its fieriness and its heaviness. When we feel resentment because the room is too cold, we could meet the cold and feel its iciness and its bite. When we want to complain about the rain, we could feel its wetness instead. When we worry because the wind is shaking our windows, we could hear the wind and hear its sound. Cutting our expectations for a cure is a gift we give ourselves. There is no cure for hot and cold. They will go on forever. After we have died, the ebb and flow will still continue, like the tides of the sea, like day and night. This is the nature of things.
Well, good morning again. It's been a little while since I was up here in ye old pulpit. It's good to be here and see all of you. Before I get started on this sermon, I want to answer quickly a couple of questions that have been surfacing around the bit of drama I experienced up in Chicago. That's been a question everybody's asking me about. Yes, I was arrested while protesting an ICE facility, the Broadview detainment facility there in Chicago. quite an infamous facility. I was detained for about 7 hours and I'm facing some misdemeanor charges, specifically resisting or obstructing a peace officer and walking on a highway. Not sure why walking on a highway. I think it's because there's no police code for stepping out of the demarcated protest area, which is part of what happened in that on that day. So my case is ongoing, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I do want you to know that I'm okay. I'm represented by a legal group up in Chicago. They represent us pro bono, and it's extremely unlikely that I will go to jail. We do have some ongoing court dates to deal with and blah, blah, blah. I will preach more specifically about that whole thing on the 18th of January as we approach Martin Luther King Day on the 19th. So, yeah, be here, be there, or be square, as we used to say. Now that I've done my shameless plug for the 18th sermon, let's get into this idea of good endings. So what's a good ending? What is an ending? Are endings real? Does anything actually end? Or are all endings just beginnings in disguise? When the life of this body ends, will I end? Will I go on to another place? Will I reincarnate? Will I go to heaven? See my loved ones on the other side? How should I feel about all that? How should I feel about the ending of a job or a career or a relationship or a pattern of behavior or way of being? Can we do endings well? Or are all endings just going to be messy and full of struggle? Can they be something else? As with most big existential questions, my answer is I have absolutely no idea. I wish I did. I have thoughts about it, though. Maybe good endings are a thing. Maybe they're a thing. Maybe endings are always a mixed bag. Maybe endings aren't really endings. Maybe they're more like transitions. I don't know. But in contemplating all of this, preparing for this sermon, I was reminded of a story from my childhood. When I was a boy, I grew up in West Texas, as most of you know, and when I was a boy, we used to go up to Colorado to escape the heat in the summertime. And we had a little A-frame house in the woods, and we'd often be visited by deer and bears and coyotes, and real late at night sometimes you could even hear far off in the distance, you could hear the wolves howling. So one night in the wee hours, we were all awakened by the sound of what we thought was a howling wolf or coyote, some sort of howling canine. And it was a weird sound, though. It didn't sound normal. It was the sound of an animal whining and howling like it was in pain. So this went on for a while, and it was really close to the house. So it was kind of unnerving, and nobody could sleep. So my father finally got up. He grabbed a flashlight. He went outside, and there he found a feral dog that had gotten tangled up with a porcupine. Now, if you've ever seen a dog, I would suggest not Googling this, but if you've ever seen a dog who's fought with a porcupine, it's pretty gruesome. Porcupine quills are hard like bone, and they're barbed microscopically on one end, and when a dog tries to bite down on their opponent, those quills will puncture the mouth and the soft palate and tongue, and sometimes they'll even embed in the bone of the face. And such was the case with this poor whining animal. Her whole muzzle was just covered in quills, and she was howling and yelping and bleeding and just a miserable mess. So my father, without thinking, he immediately walked, just reflexively, walked back into the house, grabbed a handful of raw hamburger. He coaxed this poor thing into the back of my mother's station wagon, went back into the house, grabbed the yellow pages. This was before cell phones, you know, everybody remembers yellow pages. Grabbed the yellow pages, looked up the local vet, which was about 40 miles away, called that vet at 2 in the morning and arranged to bring this dog in. So when he got there, he found that the vet had just pulled a couple of all-nighters at various ranches and hadn't slept in a few days and was visibly surly at having been called into the office to deal with some dang Texan's porcupine, quilled up, busted up dog. But in any case, they got that dog finally onto the table. The vet sedated her, and then he went about removing the quills from her face. And curious as my father was, he just kind of pushed back into a corner and watched the whole thing. It took about 3 hours. Now, as the vet was working, he asked my dad, he said, "What's this dog's name?" To which my father said, "As far as I know, it doesn't have one. It's wild, I think. Didn't have a collar." The vet just shook his head. At about 6 in the morning, he got finished. Dog was bandaged up and sleeping, and my father said, "Well, thank you, Doc. Thanks for helping. What do I owe you?" To which the vet replied, "Any person who's going to bring me a busted up, porcupine quilled, wild feral dog in the middle of the damn night doesn't owe me a thing." And he stuck out his hand to shake. And they shook hands. And the vet said, "You know, she'll do it again." Because when a dog gets a taste for porcupine, they can't let it go. They get crazed with it. As soon as she catches the scent of another one, she'll go after it. I have seen it 1,000 times, and I've never seen anything you can do to break them of it. "Nothing," my dad said. "Put it this way," the vet said. "If it was my dog, I'd put her down." Now, I wasn't there in the room, but I imagine at this point my dad sighed this big sigh he had whenever he met a situation he couldn't tame. "Your call, Doc," he said. Then he drove home, and he told us all the story over a breakfast he didn't really eat. That's a sad story, with a sad ending. Now, I've told this story in other situations and other sermons, and I've told it mostly when talking about the automatic impulse that we sometimes have to help someone else. I've used it to unpack the idea that sometimes we leap in to help others without thinking. We leap in when we don't even know what to do or how things are going to turn out, or when all hope appears lost. There's sometimes this automatic impulse to help. And it represents something deeply compassionate, I think, and worthy about the human animal. I've also told this story casually when talking about the larger-than-life character that was my father. And in some of these tellings, I've had people say things like, "That is so sad. Why didn't he adopt that dog or take it to a shelter?" Some have even thought that the story illustrates a kind of cruelty. Then I explained that there were no shelters in the boondocks of Colorado in the 1970s. I explained that for my father, bringing home a wild dog to live behind a fence, a dog that was used to roaming free, was in my dad's mind a cruelty of its own. I go on to say that as a personal injury attorney, he was also probably worried that a feral dog would be miserable, so miserable kept in a yard, that might end up biting a child. And even if he had managed to bring it home, and it turned out to be tameable, Texas had porcupines too. And if that dog got loose, she'd almost inevitably suffer the pain of being quilled again. I explained that in my father's calculus, the most humane thing to do was to let the vet put the dog down. Now, at this point, most detractors of the story say that they certainly would have kept the dog. Or they repeat how sad the story is, and some have even suggested that I change the end. It's been suggested that I make up the ending that we kept the dog, and it never bit us, and we loved it, and it was a happy, fenced-in desert dog for the rest of its life, never tried to run away, never got quilled again, best dog ever. They suggest a bit of white lie dishonesty to make a more palatable point about the healing power of love or helping or some other lesson. So as you can probably guess, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because it's not true, and also because I don't think that's how endings work. We can call an ending good, or we can call an ending bad. But I think this sort of value judgment does a disservice to our experience of endings. I think it causes us to step outside of ourselves and judge our experience rather than simply experiencing it. It takes us out of the experience rather than bringing us closer to it. And again, I could be wrong. I'm wrong about a lot of things. But I think maybe that experiencing everything our life has to offer us might be important. I recently encountered a book called The Five Invitations, The Five Invitations by an author named Frank Ostaseski. No, let me get that right. Ostaseski. I've practiced that about 40 times. Mr. Ostaseski is a renowned Buddhist teacher and one of the founders of the Zen Hospice Project. I'm not going to go into all 5 of his invitations, but the first of his invitations is particularly relevant here, I think. Ostaseski's first invitation is, don't wait. Here, he explores the inevitability of our own ending. And it gives us a profound opportunity, he says, if we're willing to take it. It's the opportunity not to wait to begin our spiritual practice, not to wait to live our best lives, not to wait to stop and smell the roses, not to wait to help someone, even if it's a feral dog that has to get put down. He says, don't wait to make amends to those we've hurt. Don't wait to offer forgiveness to someone who's hurt us. He implores us, don't wait. The invitation of don't wait asks us to be honest with ourselves about the fact that someday there will come a time when our bodies falter. This is inevitable. Our bodies will someday falter to the point that we can't do much. So why not make the most of our lives and integrate these practices into our lives right now? And he's suggesting not only that we do all this pious spiritual stuff, he's saying that practicing don't wait is also about enjoying ourselves. It's about finding laughter and pleasure and tenderness. He's imploring us to experience every moment, the highs and the lows, as thoroughly as we can. This means opening up to it all, to the fun, to the boredom, to the deliciousness, to the grief, to the loneliness, to the moments of confidence, the moments of doubt. He's saying we should open to all the joys, struggles, sorrows, wins, losses, everything that comes with being human. Life in a body on this earth contains all these experiences, I think. And as such, one could argue that all these experiences are sacred, not just the ones we think are important or special or that we can label as good or bad, but all of our experiences are sacred. One might even say they're holy. Don't wait invites us to be fully present in every moment, regardless of how we might categorize the experience. Seen in this way, whether a story has a neatly tied conclusion we can label as good or bad, it's irrelevant. Our experience of this life beyond everything else in our lives, beyond everything we have, our experience belongs solely to each one of us and is wholly unique. No one can ever take our experiences away from us. Now, I don't know the answer to the big question. We might have more lives to live. Reincarnation might be true. There might be a heavenly afterlife, or there might be just a quiet closing of the cosmic door. I really don't know. But I do know that this is the great mystery of our being. And I think I agree with Mr. taseski. We don't need to wait to let that mystery invite us into a richer, fuller experience of our lives. Don't wait. Aho me takuyasin. Amen. May it be so.